Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिजगाचार्य श्रोत श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from 10th canto, chapter 1, chapter entitled The Advent of Lord Krishna Introduction. And today we are going to read text 67. Mataram Pitaram Bratrin Sarvancha Suhrida Tatha Gnanti Hi Asutripaha Lubdaha Rajanaha Prayashaha Bhuvi Mataram Pitaram Bratrin Mataram Pitaram Bratrin Sarvamscha Suhridastatha Sarvamscha Suhridastatha Gnanti Yas Sutrupo Lubda Gnanti Yas Tripo Lubda Rajana Prayasho Bhuvi Rajana Prayaso Bhuvi Mataram Pitaram Bratrin Sarvamscha Suhridastatha Gnanti Yas Tripo Lubdha Rajana Prayasho Bhuvi Mataram Pitaram Bratrin Sarvamscha Suhridastatha Gnanti Yashotrupta Lubda Rajana Prayasho Bhuvi Rajanam Prayaso Bhuvi Mataram pitaram bratrin sarvamscha suhridastatha Granti asusuto lakha Rajana prayaso. Mataji. Mataram pitaram bratrin sarvamscha suhridastatha Rajanam Mataram unto the mother, Pitaram unto the father, Bratrin unto brothers, Sarvancha and anyone else, Suhrida friends, Tatha as well as, Gnanti they kill as it is practically seen. He indeed, Asutripaha, those who envy the lives of others for personal sense gratification. Lubdaha, greedy. Rajanaha, such kings. Prayasaha, almost always. Bhuvi, on the earth. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of ISKCON. Translation. Kings greedy for sense gratification on this earth almost always kill their enemies indiscriminately. To satisfy their own whims, they may kill anyone, even their mothers, fathers, brothers or friends. Purport. We have seen in the history of India that Aurangzeb killed his brother and nephews and imprisoned his father to fulfill political ambitions. There have been many similar instances, and Kamsa was the same type of king. Kamsa did not hesitate to kill his nephews and imprison his sister and his father. For demons to do such things is not astonishing. Nonetheless, although Kamsa was a demon, he was aware that Lord Vishnu cannot be killed, and thus he attained salvation. Even partial understanding of the activities of Lord Vishnu makes one eligible for salvation. Kamsa knew a little about Krishna, that he could not be killed, and therefore he attained salvation although he thought of Vishnu, Krishna, as an enemy. What then is to be said of one who knows Krishna perfectly from the descriptions of Shastras like Bhagavad Gita? It is therefore the duty of everyone to read the Bhagavad Gita and understand Krishna perfectly. This will make one's life successful. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vikasa Swamiti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mataram Pitaram Bratrim Sarvamscha Suhridas Tatha Grantihi Yas Tripo Lubdha Rajana Prayasho Bhuvi. Translation one more time. Kings greedy for sense gratification on this earth almost always kill their enemies indiscriminately. To satisfy their own whims, they may kill anyone, even their mothers, fathers, brothers or friends. So here, in the last few verses in this chapter, we have seen a lot of turn of events. First, it starts with a very happy scene where Vasudev and Devaki are married, and Kamsa, as a good brother, is taking a humble position as a charioteer, and he is taking his sister and the brother-in-law on the chariot, taking them to their house. So it's a happy scene. But then suddenly there is a voice from the sky which says that Devki's eighth son will be the cause of Kamsa's death. And suddenly you see Kamsa as a demon. He changes his mind. He is completely what just a second back he was a very nice brother. Suddenly the same brother is now ready to kill his own sister. So then we saw there is a long conversation between Vasudev and Kamsa, where Vasudev is now trying to save his wife. And after the conversation at the end, it was decided that okay, Vasudev will give all the 6 sons, all the 8 sons actually, all the 8 children to Kamsa. And now the few verses before, okay, so we'll give. He promised that he will give 8 sons again. So happiness. Okay, now it's peaceful. Then the first child is born, and now Vasudeva is going and giving that son to Kamsa. That okay, here is my first child, and Kamsa is now showing compassion. He's saying, no, for me, I am concerned with the 8th child, not with the first. So it's okay. You can keep. So again, little happiness, little peace. But then what happens? Narad Muni appears in the scene, and Narad Muni, as we saw in the last 2 verses, that Narad Muni is saying that Kamsa, you don't understand. Any child could be Vishnu. Why are you taking the risk? Don't take the risk. And as soon as Kamsa hears this, what he does? Again, he behaves like a demon. He's already put his sister and Vasudeva now in with iron shackles in the prison, and now he's going to kill all the children one after another. So you can see how a demon behaves. One point he is happy, and then again, very second moment, he changes his nature. He becomes angry, becomes he's ready to do anything. So what is it? Why does he behave like that? So it's very simple, as it is mentioned in the translation also. When the sense gratification of a king, it is mentioned that kings greedy for sense gratification on this earth almost always kill their enemies indiscriminately. So kings who are greedy for sense gratification. So the underlying principle is sense gratification. So as long as our sense gratification is supported or is helped by somebody, we are good with them. There is no problem. But as soon as our sense gratification, someone becomes an obstacle in our sense gratification, then there is a change in behavior. You see, if a good person does something bad, then it is very astonishing. Oh, he is such a nice person. How can he behave in this way? So then we feel, oh, it is astonishing. And on the contrary, if a bad person, if he behaves nice in a nice way, then we are astonished. Oh, this is such a fellow. He is so bad, and now he is behaving so nicely. So whenever a person behaves differently than his own nature, then we find it astonishing. As Prabhupada also mentions in the purport, that for demons to do such things is not astonishing. So for Kamsa to behave as he was behaving, being a demon, is not at all astonishing. We can see that sorry. The sister, he was very happy taking his sister along, but as soon as he heard that this sister is cause of his death, he showed his nature, and he even immediately wanted to kill her. So you can see, now the fear of death for Kamsa is so big that he forgot who is there in front of him. Sister, brother, father, doesn't matter. If this person is cause of my death, is a obstacle in my sense gratification, immediately kill them off. So this is how demons behave. And we see in our day-to-day dealings also, we meet so many people and we see people who are materialistic also. There are people who are materialistic also have the same kind of nature, that as long as they have something to gain from us, they are very nice with us. As soon as they figure out that, okay, there is nothing to gain from this person, then they change their behavior. Example is very classic example. We have so many jewelry shops in Salem. So if you go to one of the jewelry shop, at the entrance there will be two wonderfully beautiful looking, well-dressed ladies welcoming you with a very nice broad smile, and they will welcome you, please come, please come. They will offer you water. So you get a very warm welcome. After going inside, they will ask you, sir, what are you looking for? And you say, no, I just came to see, I'm not interested in buying anything. Then that's all. They will ignore you. They know that, okay, this guy is not of no benefit to us. He's not going to buy anything. We are not going to gain anything from him. Then what is the use? So you see, this is such a artificial welcome, artificial love that they're trying to show you, but it is completely material, based on selfish interest. Very interesting. Same thing you can experience when you go to a car showroom. You go to the Mercedes showroom, you enter, what a welcome, they'll even give you cold drinks and whatnot. And then you say, I just came to see the car, I'm not interested in buying, and that's all. They will completely ignore you to the core. The person who was welcoming you with so much, with such a smile and everything, next moment he changes. They are not interested. So many instances we see actually I'm sure a collector also have very nice experience, that you go to meet people, rich people, you go and sit with them, talk with them, they are very nice. But as soon as you say, please, donate for a temple, then their face color changes. Suddenly their voice chokes and they are not able to speak anymore. I'm sure Srinivas Prabhu can tell us a lot of such stories. So the point is that as long as our sense gratification is met, we are nice. If not, then we are ready to do anything. And we can see Prabhupada gives the example of Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was a ruler, emperor, and what he did to get his position, he put his own father in the jail, Shah Jahan. He put him in jail and he killed so many of his nephews. And same thing Kamsa also did. Kamsa did the exactly same thing. He put his father Ugrasen in the jail, and he wanted to enjoy. And not only that, he was attempting to kill his own sister, and then he killed 6 children of his own sister. Just see how demons can go to any extent to satisfy their own sense gratification. Now, in the verse, if you see Prabhupada, in the verse itself, it says, the third line says, the last line, Rajana Prayasho Bhuvi. And the word Prayashaha is translated by Prabhupada as almost always. So, being a king, most of the kings behave like this. It is said in the translation and purport also, that most of the kings would behave like this. They, to achieve their goals, they are ready to do anything. But then on the contrary, we see the example of other kings like Amrish Maharaj. You see what he did. So we know the Leela where Durvasa Muni is very angry at King Amrish because he took a little water without his permission. So he is so angry, and his anger, what it does is creates a demon. And this demon is now going to kill Amrish Maharaj. But what did Amrish Maharaj do? Did he counteract? Did he kill that demon? He also had the same fear like Kamsa, the fear of death, that now this demon is going to kill me. But how did Amrish Maharaj react? He just stood there with folded hands. Being a devotee, he didn't even pray to Lord Krishna that please save me from this demon. No, he didn't even do that. He just stood there, fully surrendered, okay, whatever happens, it's okay. So see on the contrary, that how, almost all kings would behave, he would attack, the other kings would just directly attack the demon and try to kill him. But Amrish Maharaj, exceptionally, he's a pure devotee. So he just stood there and took it as Lord's mercy. Okay, if you want me to be killed by this demon, that's fine, no problem. He just so surrendered that he just did not do anything. And also why he behaved like this, there are two things we can say that, okay, Amrish Maharaj was of course a pure devotee, so that's one reason. And another thing is that Durvasa Muni was his guest. He was, Atiti Deva Bhava. He came uninvited, but still it's Atiti Deva Bhava, so he didn't want to offend him. Had he attacked the demon and killed him, definitely Amrish Maharaj was capable of doing it. But he said, okay, this is my guest and this is what. So we can also learn how to treat our guest, even if they come without notice. So many things to learn from there. So Kamsa, now we have heard a lot about Kamsa and his how being a demon, how he was performing so many bad activities. But here in Prabhupada says that Kamsa also got salvation. He got moksha. So this is very astonishing also, that being a demon, he is doing so many bad things. He is killing so many people. He has given pain to so many living entities, and he gets liberation. It doesn't sound fair. There are yogis meditating for thousands of years and still they don't get liberation. And here Kamsa, who is completely doing activities completely against the scriptures, performing all kinds of sinful activities, and he is eligible, he is getting liberation. So Prabhupada gives a reason also. Prabhupada says that although Kamsa was a demon, he was aware that Lord Vishnu cannot be killed, and thus he attained salvation. So just by knowing, Kamsa knew that Lord Vishnu cannot be killed. Now you may say that he knew that, then why he was trying to fight with him? But this is a demon. He thinks that, okay, someday I will be able to do it. Someday I will be able to kill it. He knows he cannot do it, but he is doing it. So just because of this knowledge that Lord Vishnu cannot be killed, he got salvation. Of course, we also know that Kamsa, when Krishna was born, and then he was all the time thinking of Krishna. So that is also one more reason that all the time he was thinking of Krishna and absorbed in the thought of Krishna. So that is also devotional service. In devotional service, what are we saying? Man manam bhakto madhyajimam. So all the time you have to think of Krishna. But demons like Kamsa, they are doing it in an unfavorable way. They are not doing in anukulya in a Krishna way. It's not anukulya. It's pratikulya. So, but still, nevertheless, he was thinking of Krishna, and thus he got salvation. So this is very astonishing, and the same question Yudhishthira Maharaj also had when he saw that Shishupal, who was criticizing, blaspheming Krishna, when he was killed by Krishna, Shishupal's soul merged into Krishna's body, and he achieved liberation. So he is asking Narad Muni, that Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking Narad Muni, that how is this possible? Such a sinful person. If you see Shishupal and Dantavakra, both the brothers, from childhood, when he was not even able to speak properly, since then he was criticizing Krishna. He was almost like born to criticize Krishna, blaspheme Krishna. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is perplexed. He is asking, how is it possible that if an ordinary person, if he criticized Krishna like this, he would get some kind on his tongue, he would get some leprosy or some disease, or he gets such a heavy reaction. But Shishupal, he got liberation. How is this possible? How is this happening? So Narad Muni again explains, and in one of the verses, Narad Muni gives a very interesting. I will just read the translation of that verse. So there is a series of verses, but I'll just try to read the translation of one verse. So Narad Muni, of course, is explaining the similar thing, that these Shishupal and other demons who got liberation were absorbed in the thought of Krishna. Again, unfavorably, but they were absorbed. On the contrary, you can see King Vena. He was also killed by Vishnu, but he didn't get liberation because Vena was not thinking of Krishna. So one of the translation, Prabhupada, the translation Narad Muni is saying, please read carefully, listen carefully. by devotional service, one cannot achieve such intense absorption in thought of Supreme Personality of Godhead as one can through enmity towards Him. You understand? That is my opinion. What Narad Muni is saying, that how much absorption these demons had on Krishna because they were thinking Krishna as an enemy. The absorption that they had, you cannot have that much absorption even by devotional service. So it's a very interesting statement. Of course, we are not saying that now devotional service, enmity to Krishna is higher than devotional. That is not the point. And it's not that now we all have to become enemies of Krishna and then practice like that. We are not propagating that. But it is just an analogy, or just trying to say that how much intense is their thought when they think of Krishna as an enemy. So it's just to highlight that. So we can see that this is the reason these devotees, these demons have achieved salvation. Then, so here Prabhupada mentions that just by knowing that Vishnu is the Supreme, or just by knowing that Vishnu is not going to kill him, he was able to achieve salvation. So Prabhupada mentions in the last paragraph, what then is to be said of one who knows Krishna perfectly from the description of Shastra like Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada is saying that if Kamsa could just by knowing this much could achieve salvation, then what to speak of devotees who know Krishna from the Shastras? What to speak of them? Then Prabhupada continues, it is therefore the duty of everyone to read Bhagavad Gita and understand Krishna perfectly. This will make one's life successful. So Prabhupada is giving a message here that it is very, very important for all the devotees to read his books. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Nectar of Devotion, Chaitanya Charitamrita. These are the 4 principal books Prabhupada has asked all of us to read. And by reading that, we'll be able to know Krishna, his activities, and then definitely, you see, for devotees, the liberation, mukti is just standing at the doorstep. But we are not, as pure devotees, don't aspire for liberation. They are saying that birth after birth, we should engage in service. Or they say that, okay, wherever I am, I should be engaged in the service of Krishna. So we are not aspiring for liberation, but at the same time, what the idea is that as devotees, we should read Prabhupada books on a daily basis. Now, what I'm going to speak now is preaching to myself also. It's not that I'm now perfected this art of reading or anything like that. But just recently, I had my own struggles for reading, and somehow or the other I found one book called Reading Reform. So you must have seen Japa Reform, a very nice book called Japa Reform by Sat Swarup Maharaj. And this is another book by Sat Swarup Maharaj on reading reform. So I looked at this book, and many may say, why reading reform? You could have so many things. Why is such a thin book? So the idea is that Maharaj mentioned in the book that reading reform, people who will read this book are the people who are struggling to read. So if you make a very fat, thick book, they are not going to open it. So that's why Maharaj says that I made a book thin and small, so that people at least attempt to read it and take benefit. So a very interesting thing in this book is that say 70-80% of the book is Prabhupada quotes on why devotees of the Krishna conscious movement of ISKCON should read Prabhupada books. Quotes directly from Prabhupada on the importance of reading. And Maharaj starts with a very interesting introduction. And the introduction, the title to the introduction is The Awful Truth. Awful Truth. I would just like to read this. It is very interesting, and we all can relate to this. That's why it's quite practical. So it goes like this. It starts with a question: how many devotees in the Krishna conscious movement do not regularly read Srila Prabhupada books? So it's a very pertinent question. The answer is too many. There are various reasons for not reading, but the conclusion is always an unfortunate one. Okay, I'll continue reading. The awful truth is often kept a secret or admitted only reluctantly. A temple president admits that he spares very little time, even on a weekly basis, to look through Prabhupada's books. And even when he sets aside some time, he finds it difficult to read attentively. Okay, so this is one of the temple presidents who was given his view when asked about reading Prabhupada books. A Sankirtan leader says that when he opens Prabhupada's books, his mind reels with a million distracting thoughts. So we all have this experience that mind goes crazy, it runs around here and there, especially when we try to chant and read Prabhupada books. An artist who paints pictures of Krishna Leela admits that he has never read the entire Bhagavad Gita, although he has been an initiated devotee for 5 years. Yeah, so these may look extreme, but I think it is very relevant, very pertinent to our society at this moment. Many devotees are not reading Prabhupada books, and that's why we will see the consequences also. Maharaj continues, I hate to admit it, but I find the books boring, someone says. I sleep whenever I try to read. So this is an eternal problem. Many devotees have this problem. As soon as it is as if some button is there. As soon as you open this, eyes close. Some button is there, some kind of reaction. I have no time. Another common reason, I have no time. Statements such as these are too common, and they reveal some of the prevalent problems. Some devotees with poor reading habits make a kind of hard-hearted defense. They view hard-hearted defense. Others are complacent about their reading shortcomings or are simply unaware of the importance of reading every day. But the awful truth is that most of us need to reform our reading habits. It is to this end that we offer the present book. So Maharaj is given this as an introduction. And at the back also, and in the now also in this introduction also, Maharaj has given a quote from Prabhupada. It is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 25, verse number 278. In the purport, Prabhupada mentions, all the devotees connected with this Krishna conscious movement must read all of the books that have been translated. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and others. And if you don't do it, what happens? Prabhupada mentions. Otherwise, after some time, they will simply eat, sleep and fall down from their position. You heard, after some time, they will simply eat, sleep and fall down from their position. Thus, they will miss the opportunity to attend an eternal blissful life of transcendental pleasure. So this is what will happen if devotees in our moment stop reading books for X, Y, Z, so many reasons. There are so many reasons. If you start asking people, devotees, they will give you very, very convincing reasons. But I think we have to push ourselves to read Prabhupada books daily. I will also read a few of quotes from this book. One quote. This is a quote about a devotee who has written to Prabhupada that I am very busy. I don't have time to even chant my rounds. So in reply, Prabhupada is saying, you should make effort to finish your 16 rounds whenever possible. As you are an important worker there, and you have so many important duties, especially to take care of cows, it may not be possible for you to stop your work for chanting 16 rounds. But as much as possible, you should try to fulfill the goal of 16 rounds daily. You should not fall too much short of this goal. That will not be good. Similarly, you must read Bhagavad Gita at least a few verses every day and think about them throughout the day. The best thing is to read one chapter daily, but if you can meditate upon a few verses of Bhagavad Gita every day, that is better than reading for simply 1 hour and then forgetting the topics until the next reading. So we have, this is also another thing, right? Many devotees, they read 1 hour, 2 hour, but then after finishing, once they are done with the reading, they say, I don't remember, I don't recollect. I forgot whatever I read. So Prabhupada here is saying that it's better to read few verses nicely than just reading for 1 or 2 hours. So that's one of the ways mentioned. And here this devotee is really busy, but still Prabhupada is insisting that he should finish the 16 rounds. However busy you are, you have to finish the 16 rounds and read Prabhupada books daily. So it is like our daily sadhana, it has to be done. Then there is another quote for leaders. So most of the time leaders or temple presidents in our moment are the most busy people. They have to do many things, they have to manage many things. So Prabhupada is replying to one of those leaders. I want you leaders especially to become absorbed in the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and become yourselves completely convinced and free from all doubt. On this platform, you shall be able to carry on the work satisfactorily. But if there is a lack of knowledge or if there is forgetfulness, everything will be spoiled in time. So especially, you must encourage the students to read our books throughout the day as much as possible and give them all good advice how to understand the books and inspire them to study the things from every point of view. Better to boil the milk very vigorously and make it thick and sweet. That is the best progress. So let us concentrate on training our devotees very thoroughly in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness from our books, from tapes, by discussing always and so many ways instruct them in the right proposition. So again, Prabhupada is saying that the leaders, they have to scrutinizingly study Prabhupada books, because unless they are not convinced of the philosophy, how are they going to help the other devotees who come to them for help? There are other letters also in this book where so many times Prabhupada is saying to devotees that don't write letters to me for small things. You read the book, or you approach the local the senior devotees, and if there is something that they cannot help you with, then you can write me a letter. I am ready to reply all the letters, but better you find for local help. And eventually, after some time writing like this letters, Prabhupada afterwards also says that you will find all the answers in my books. So that also is Prabhupada is mentioning that, you can read more and more and you will find all the answers in my book. Then there is a personal instruction to Maharaj where Prabhupada says, now this is for a GBC, Maharaj is a sannyasi and also GBC at that time. Yes, as a sannyasi and GBC, your first duty is to read my books. Prabhupada is saying, as a GBC and as a sannyasi, your first duty is to read my books. Otherwise, how will you preach? In order to remain steadily fixed in Krishna consciousness, there must be a sound philosophical understanding. Otherwise, it will become only sentiment, right? And then this is a very important quote which Maharaj is mentioning many times in this book. Whenever you find the time, please read my books. This is a personal letter to Sat Swarup Maharaj on January 5th, 1976. Whenever you find time, please read my books. So, as a realization, Maharaj is mentioning his own realization in the here. While managing, Maharaj says, while managing Back to Godhead magazines in Los Angeles, I made a sign and hung it on the bookshelf above my desk. The sign said, whenever you get time, please read my books. And it reminded me of my duty to read as much as possible every day. Sometimes we hear of expert executive consultants who give advice how managers should organize their time. They say that between seeing each client, one should cram books about how to succeed. So this is an mundane example where, there are so many books, how to succeed. And in that they are saying that there is some time between when you meet two clients, there is some time. In that also you should try to read the books on the topic of how to succeed. Similarly, devotees should read Prabhupada books in between their other tasks. So whatever engagement we have, whatever services we are doing, whenever we have break or we have any free time in between, we should read Prabhupada books. So that is what is mentioned. Maharaj continues, we are serving Krishna, and by always remaining in touch with him, by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, our service will improve. But if we do not read regularly, we will forget whom we are really working for, and we will lose the inspiration and courage to serve Krishna under any circumstance. So yeah, again a common thing, right? Prabhuji, I am not inspired, I don't have enthusiasm, I am lacking enthusiasm, I don't have taste. There's common things with so many devotees are, how do I develop taste for chanting? How do I develop taste for so many things? But this is what, we have to read the book. There is no shortcut in this. You have to read the books, understand the philosophy, apply the process. Unless you apply the process, you cannot complain that the process is not working. So this is yeah. So not to read too much. There are few other. So this book has 3 chapters. One is Prabhupada quotes. Another is a reading journal. Journal. A reading journal is Maharaj wants to read something every day, and he has his own experiences on when he started doing that, what happened, how things change, and his own experiences. And the 3rd chapter is question and answers, FAQs, frequently asked questions. So I would just like to read a few questions. I will not read the answer, just to inspire devotees, and also just to relate what kind of question. So one question is, often I finish reading a long purport only to find I was thinking about something else the whole time. Yeah, you're reading, but mind is somewhere else. How can I keep my mind from wandering when I read? So that's one of the questions. Another question is, I like to read so much that sometimes I find myself reading when I should be doing other things. Is that alright? So again, this is another extreme, right? That some devotees just want to read. They don't want to do any of the service. But then the thing is that devotional service, right? The process is devotional service. We have to, reading should, like we have seen in some places where there is a Bhakti Shastra course, right? And during that course, you tell devotees, Prabhuji, can you please come and clean the pots? No, Prabhuji, I am doing Bhakti Shastra, Prabhu, I am studying. But what is the culmination of Bhakti Shastra? That you have to engage in service of Krishna, right? But then if you don't do that, then the purpose is defeated. One more question. There are very nice, interesting question. I have a lot of service, and whenever I make special plans to read, something always seems to come up. What can I do? Right? I'm busy. I have so many services. I'm making a plan to read, but then some other service is distracting me. So what do I do? Another question. What is the best overall attitude or mood that one should adopt when approaching Prabhupada books? Another common question. Okay, many devotees think, I think this is also coming from the West, that many Western devotees, they feel that unless I know Sanskrit, I cannot understand Prabhupada books, or Sanskrit is must. So that also has been answered. The question is, although Srila Prabhupada's books have been translated in so many languages, he did say that Sanskrit is the language for addressing God. And in the Adi Leela, Prabhupada states that the study of Sanskrit grammar is the gateway to education. Is there a need to study Sanskrit? So Maharaj explains, gives an answer to this question. And the last question I would like to read is this. What is the value of trying to read if one cannot concentrate or retain anything, right? So I am reading, I am not able to understand anything, not able to retain anything. So what is the use of reading? Why I should read? No point reading. Would it not be better to just do some practical service, and in that way become purified enough to read properly? So the thing is right? We become pure. They say that we'll become pure by doing service, and then we'll be able to read properly. So to find the answers, you'll have to read this book. So the idea is that yes, if we read and if we are convinced of the philosophy, then we will be able to preach to others, we'll be able to convince others, bring them to Krishna consciousness, make them devotees, and also help them experience the bliss that as devotees we are experiencing. Every day we are waking up for Mangala Aarti, attending all the Aartis, and there is some happiness, otherwise why would we be doing it every day? So the same we need to share with all these devotees. And when they come, we can give them some small Prabhupada book. Of course, we can preach, but then Prabhupada said, no, what, your 2-minute preaching, what can it do? But when you give Prabhupada book, and if they read it, again, just giving the book also, our job is not over. Like during the book distribution marathon, we gave so many Srimad Bhagavatams. But now it is our duty to call all these people, inspire them to read. Otherwise, they will not benefit from. Of course, they've taken one step. They purchased Bhagavatam, they purchased Bhagavad Gita, they purchased our books. But now is a good time we could follow up with them and inspire them to read Prabhupada books. Then they will also be able to perfect their life and participate in the Krishna conscious movement. So I'll end here. If there are any questions or comments, please. Just one point comes to me is that we were talking about demons and materialistic people who, for their interest, they are ready to do anything. But we can also see that sometimes, this should not happen. We should not, some devotees, when they have a position and they see that somebody else is now coming close to take that position, then they become, they should not start feeling insecure and, play around, trying to, sideline other devotees or anything like that. As devotees, we should always be happy if somebody else can do a service better than us. Oh, you the gopis, they always are saying, okay, Radharani, she is the best. So always they give the everything that, okay, Radharani, you do for Krishna. So similarly, we have, somebody is doing very nice garland. Okay, you please do. Somebody is singing very well. Why don't you sing? So this should be the attitude of devotees, that we should be not be attached to our own service also, that okay, if somebody else is doing better than us, why not? Please, you go ahead. So I just wanted to mention that. Yes, Prabhuji has a question.
Everybody will be having a threshold limit in doing some service or something. So obviously, devotees encourage that one has to render service beyond one's capacity to please Krishna and Guru, take the burden. So, how we can say, no Prabhu, so I have to take care of myself, I have to read or something, because when we grow in Krishna consciousness, obviously the responsibilities and things are going to get increased.
Yeah. So, okay, who sets the threshold? So, if it is us who are setting the threshold, then we can be in Maya, right? So, if I say I've been given a service and I say, Prabhuji, this is too much for me, then I'm the cause. But I'm not saying, I can understand the question, I'm not telling you. But of course, that's why we have the association of devotees. If there are too many services and you are burnt out that you don't have time to read and chant, then you can always go and consult your senior devotees, your temple commander, that Prabhuji, please. If you are sincere, they will understand. But if if someone is just trying to escape from not doing service, then, it will be seen. And, we have to understand that our seniors are thinking of our benefit, and they know how much we can do. They know how much we can tolerate. Especially I have seen here in our temple that we are really giving time for devotees in the afternoon to sit and read, which is not, the emphasis is there. I'm not saying it's not there in other temples. Here the emphasis is there that we all have to sit and study. So, and also in morning times, chanting, we are all here. So I don't see such a pressure. But of course, there are some times where the pressure is there, when there are, like during book distribution, many devotees are out. So devotees who are in temple have a lot of services, or during festivals we have a lot of services. So, but then that also, we have to understand, we have to learn how to manage our time, prioritize things. And if it is getting too much, then we have to speak up. We have to do that. If we are not able to do our basic sadhana, then you have to speak up. You have to discuss with your authorities, and let them know that Prabhuji, please help me out. So, and then that's how the process works, right? You take help when you need help, and same thing with reading, right? There are many devotees who have difficulty. Then you can form a group. Okay, let's read together. We have to help each other. That's why association of devotees is so important, that we get help. On our own, we'll do it for a few days and dwindle. We will be, thrown away, will fade away. But when we are in association of devotees, if you are down, somebody else will pull you up. That's the thing. And when somebody is down, you pull them up. You help each other. That's the whole idea. That's why association of devotees is so important. And same in the service also, you have to ask for help. If you are, you or anybody who is struggling to do the basic things, then you should ask for help. Anything else? Okay. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.